Williams, can an account be closed or charged off for 4 years, 2017, now reporting open, late and past due payments every month? I've not spoken a word to them or never made an agreement. What should I do? Okay, so Ace, you can let me know if I'm not understanding your question right, but I think what's happened is that maybe in 2017 stopped paying on it. We haven't made any payments since then. It was closed, it was charged off, and now they've changed it to open and they're putting past due payments every month. So if an account is charged off, they can report every single month that that's charged off. Okay. But if it's charged off, it should not be reporting as, for example, 120 days late. And this is, it's sort of an interesting thing where we might say, well, it's reporting as 120 days late every month, and I want it to report as charge off. Well, a charge off is more delinquent than 120 days. So why would I want that? And I asked that question to somebody in the mortgage world, and they said, because a charge off, we can get you approved for a loan after a certain period of time. But if you're currently reporting 120 days late, there is no getting you a mortgage loan, like if this is on your mortgage. So sometimes we just need the furnisher and the bureau to fix that, to say, no, I'm not 120 days late. This thing was charged off like 4 years ago. And so, we dispute that. We look at every single field. When I say field, I mean just little section on the credit report. So the date open, the date closed, the date of last activity, what's the payment history for, January 2021, December 2020, November 2000. We look at every single detail of the report and we compare all these reports. So we look at Equifax and Experian and TransUnion, sort of lay them all out. I tend to put them on a spreadsheet. Okay. So literally just like copying and pasting data into the spreadsheet. And then you can look at that spreadsheet and say, like, here's a column for open date. It's like, well, wait a minute, why is it different? Or here's a column for, date of last payment. And that's different among the bureaus. So every possible error you want to point out to them and identify and explain, I want this fixed or I want the account deleted. So I hope that that's helpful. And Ace, if I misunderstood your question, just let me know on that. He says, should a closed charge-off account continue to increase the balance monthly? And then the CRAs continue to respond to factual disputes as verified. Okay, so let's go back to this first one. Generally, well, I'll say this, it depends on should the balance increase. A lot of times it does increase because the charge-off is really just an accounting function that says, hey, we're not expecting to be able to collect on this. And so a lot of times you will see that increase. Sometimes you don't. It can depend on the type of account it is. Is it a credit card account? Is it a car loan? What type of account? What does your contract say? And then what does your state law say about that? But I would say most of these will continue to report an increased balance. Now, if it's actually been closed, then that would be a little bit more unusual. Why, if it's closed, is a balance increasing on your credit report? Because if it's a closed account, there's really no reason under what's called Metro 2, which is the industry guideline, to continue to report that every month if it's been closed. So like I have a mortgage loan, I took it out, I sold my house, paid off the loan. That doesn't update every month. I mean, there's no reason to, because that happened in 2014 or 2017 or whenever, and like there's no more loan at that point. So it should not keep increasing if it's closed, unless there's just something unusual going on. So I would definitely look at that. And you say you're doing factual disputes, and just so we're on the same page, typically when people say factual disputes, they're talking about they are looking very specifically at the credit bureaus, at the credit reports, and finding discrepancies, finding missing information. This is opposed to kind of this, I think it's a very lazy way of disputing stuff where you just say, please verify all negative accounts. Like, what does that mean? Like there's no pressure on the credit bureaus for that. Okay. But factual disputes, you're like, hey, Equifax, you say this, that I was 30 days late in June, Experian, you say I was 60 days late in June. Well, which one is it? Can't be both. Or I had one where Equifax had 3 different close dates for the same account. And those 3 did not match, the one from TransUnion and the one from Experian. So I'm like, guys, how many close dates are there? There's only one close date. I can't have 5 different close dates. So correct this, make it 100% accurate, or delete the account. So when they verify those and you've done a good job of disputing, and you can prove that they received the dispute and exactly what you disputed, then I would say that's the point that you sit down with the lawyer to see, okay, is this really something that's wrong, an error? Okay. And if it is, did I give them enough information? Did they violate the law by not fixing it and instead deleting it? Can we sue, or do we need to do another dispute? And I just want to stress this one point. I think I did a recent video on this. I know I've done a number of videos on this. There has to be an actual error. Okay. There's a misconception, and frankly, it's justified by reading the FCRA, but it's not the way the courts interpret it. So in their mind, this is a misconception to think that you can just dispute negative things and say, hey, Bureau, you must go verify this. And if you can't verify it, delete it. But that's not the way the courts interpret this. The courts say there has to be an error. If there's no error, and an error can be it's inaccurate or it's incomplete, if that doesn't exist, then they really don't have to respond to your dispute. So they could refuse to respond, or they could just verify. And you say, but they did a lousy investigation. And Ace, I'm not saying, you're saying that, just your question brought this up. Well, they may do a lousy investigation, but the judge is going to say, look, I don't care about any of that. I want to know, was there an inaccuracy, an error, an incompleteness to this account? If the answer to that's no, you lose. Okay. If the answer to that's yes, then the next question is, did you dispute that specific error? Okay. So sometimes people say, well, there were 10 errors on this account. I say, well, did you dispute? Oh yeah, I disputed it. Beautiful dispute. So, okay, let me see your beautiful dispute. They dispute one item, and that item gets fixed. And they're like, yeah, but there are these 10 other errors. I'm like, but you didn't tell the credit bureau. And the response is, well, they should have figured it out. No, that's not what the judges say. The judges say, you have to tell the credit bureau, here's the problem. Boom, 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 boom. Very specific. And then if they don't fix that and they do it in a negligent or reckless manner, then you sue under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So hope that helps you there, Ace.